Hello, this is Chuck Ridgway, Automation Technology Manager at Horner. Thanks for joining us for another Tuesday live stream. Well, we're coming from you on location today from the new Horner Training Center. We opened that up last week with a big new event. It was the Eclipse Event and Horner Anniversary Celebration. Now, it was the Horner Anniversary Celebration because this year is the 75th anniversary of Horner Electric, our parent company, and the 35th anniversary for Horner Automation. And of course, it was the Eclipse event because last week was the first total eclipse in Indianapolis since the year 1205, back when Phil Horner was just a boy. No, but seriously, luckily last week for the event we had great weather. Not like today, nothing but clouds. But last week we had plenty of open sky, so all the attendees got a chance to check out the eclipse in all its glory with our special glasses. And Emily Tedder, our producer, she took her camera outside and she captured the event really nicely. So we're going to get a chance to check that out as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's take a look at what we've got planned for you today. Today we're going to give you a tour of the new Horner Training Center, which we will be utilizing for all Horner training courses going forward. We've got before and after photos so you can see what the building looked like before its rehabilitation. We've got highlights of the big Eclipse event, where we brought in business partners from around North America to update them on all the exciting new products in development for 2024 and 2025 and get their feedback on what else we should be working on. We're also going to be taking a look at the brand new demo stand with our own Nate Beachey. These new training stands have been designed from the ground up, and Nate's going to show those off for us. And finally, we're going to show you Emily's time-lapse video of the eclipse. She did a terrific job in capturing the event, one of the best I've seen. So to kick things off, let's take a tour of the new training center. All right, let's start our tour. I wonder who that guy was holding the door for Emily as she filmed the tour for us. All right, this is the first view of the Horner Training Center. As you can see, a very large space. Now for the Eclipse event, we had it set out for more than 50 people. And we also had a separate area where they could enjoy the presentations, and in the lower left-hand corner, another area where they could take in meals. Now in the front of the room, you can see we have a podium and we have two large projector screens. And in the corner, you can see a 65-inch television. So those were all tools that we could use to display content, whether it be slides or videos or whatever else we were trying to show during the event. Now for training purposes, when we have training courses here, it will primarily be the first two rows where people will be sitting, and a fair amount of the rest of the room will be open. So a much more intimate setting for training courses. Okay, as we continue our tour, let's go ahead and turn here and then pause right here. In the upper left center of the screen, you can just make out a video camera that we had mounted for the event. Now, this facility will be fully decked out with cameras so that we can not only use those to augment live events, but also for remote broadcast when necessary. So we are embracing the idea that we can have live events where we have folks that are not only available in person, but also those viewing remotely online. So we still think that in person is the best experience, but we are embracing online training as well. Okay, as we continue on with our tour, let's get ready to take a right-hand turn into the kitchen. So we have a full kitchen area here where we can prepare refreshments, meals as needed. We also have an open area right here where we have some tables set up. That's where we have buffet style food that we can set out for meals. And then attendees will have the ability to grab their food and then find a comfortable area away from their work area to enjoy their meals. Now on the far wall there, You can see we do have a small conference area where we can have more intimate meetings with a 65-inch television that we can use to display content. So this is the kind of kitchen area and conference area. Now heading back out to the main room here, let's take another shot, another vantage point of all the seating available here in the facility. And then let's focus on the right-hand corner or the right-hand side where we have a number of demos set out. But before we get to the demos, let's take a look there kind of in the right center of the screen. What you see there isn't just, a piece of artwork, if you will, or decoration or advertisement. Basically, it's a acoustic panel. So we custom built these in the marketing department. It's based on a wooden frame, approximately 5 feet by 2 feet, and it's filled with rock wool. Rock wool is a material that has some pretty good acoustic absorption type properties, and the cloth that was used on these panels was also acoustically transparent. So the idea is that sound travels through the cloth and is absorbed by the rock wool. And we have a dozen of these panels scattered throughout the facility. And the idea, of course, as you can probably guess by now, is to knock down the echoes that would be prevalent in a room of this size that is as open as it is. So those were fun, but difficult to build, as our marketing team will attest to, but I think the results were worth it. Okay, now let's kind of swing around here to the demo area, and I'll pause things here. We showed off not only Horner automation products, but Horner Solutions products as well, with our trade show style racks. And then moving on, you can see we also had a special table set up where our product manager, Casey Gardner, set out a number of products that we were previewing at the Eclipse event. A number of them we will be showing at trade shows, and some of them we won't be showing quite yet, maybe until the fall, but we plan on having all of these products released sometime during 2024. Now moving on a little closer, you can see in the right-hand side, you can see a 7-inch OCS along with some OCS-IO mounted on a pedestal. That is a new demonstration station that we have for our sales channel that a lot of them will be using for showing customers in the field, what Horner products look like, how to connect third-party sensors to them, those sorts of things. So a new sales demonstration tool that Tom Philippek spent a lot of time putting together over the past couple of months. And then moving along to the corner here, you can see our trade show racks that we have set up. Now they will be set up quite differently for Automate. We'll have different products displayed here on these racks. And you can see the 65-inch television in the frame as well. Again, when we're demonstrating some of our software products as well as our online or web-based products, we'll have the ability to show that in a more intimate setting. Okay, now swinging around to the front of the room, let's take another quick look at those projectors. Those are ultra short throw projectors. So they're designed to sit within a couple feet of the wall in which they're projecting upon on a stand, as you can see there. And, they're laser based. They don't have a noisy fan. They don't generate a lot of heat. They're just a nice new technology for projectors for displaying big screen images. Now they are tricky to set up. That took some time. You got to get the geometry just right. But again, nice technology for displaying the type of content that's required for training and for events like the Eclipse event. Okay, so that's a look at the Horner Training Center just opening in 2024. This facility started out as a print shop back in the 1950s, and we just took possession of it a few short months ago. It took a lot of hard work by a lot of people, but it was really worth it. Let's take a look at some before and after photos. As for the event itself, that went really well. We're so grateful to all of our business partners for joining us, taking time out of their busy schedules for this great event. We had a lot of really nice presentations from Phil Horner, our owner, to Casey Gardner, our product manager. Don Clutterbuck gave a great talk on OCS 360, which is an exciting new development from Horner you're going to see and hear a lot of over the next few months. And we had other great presentations on Horner lighting and Horner solutions. It was just a terrific event. Let's take a look at some snapshots from the event. As I mentioned earlier, we have an all-new demo stand that we're going to be using for training for all Horner courses moving forward. So Nate Beachey is going to show that off to us next. Now, this design had a lot of input from Nate, from Tim Brandt in tech support, and a little bit from myself, and engineering did a terrific job of putting it all together. So let's take a look at the new training stand from Nate Beachey. I'm here with Nate Beachey, application engineer extraordinaire and often a Horner trainer.
That's right. One of the many hats I wear here at Horner is running the training classes, at least the basic ones or whichever ones that I need to run.
Awesome. So we are here in front of our new demo stand.
Yes, the current demo stands, the current training stands that we use are, probably 10 years old, and they were actually a retrofitted version of the older training stand. So it was high time to redesign the training equipment that we use for classes, for sure.
Awesome. So, all right, so just kind of show it to us. What do we have here?
Okay, well, what we've got here on the top is the XLW controller, but there is space enough here for one of the wide screen 10-inch controllers.
Nice. That's the Prime, right? We're using the Prime.
This is the XLW Prime.
Got it.
Down here we've got the X7A, which is our micro series controller. And then also we have here a DIN rail with the OCSIO. There's a CNX116 here, and then there's an ADU100, which is our universal analog input, and our 8-in, 8-out digital input, the DIQ616.
Nice.
And there's enough room on here to fit more stuff eventually.
Yeah, including some new stuff that's not quite released yet. So.
Yeah, and so each of these controllers is kind of color-coded. You can see the red surround of the buttons here goes for this controller, and then the red lights, and then the red switches and the knob over here. Everything's kind of color-coded so you know which switches and knobs go with what.
Yeah, I like that. So green here for the OCSIO,
yeah.
and then the orange for the micro OCS.
That's right.
Very cool. I see you've got a lot of access to connectors and switches and all kinds of stuff. What's that all about?
Right, so this whole thing is built on an audio rack, and this particular panel down here is just a patch panel with a bunch of keystone jacks, and we were able to find all kinds of stuff in here. Of course, you've got your RJ, your modular jacks that you'd use in an Ethernet environment, but we use them for Ethernet and CAN bus and also our MJ serial ports. And then you can get stuff like, for instance, these 24-volt speaker jacks. Well, speaker jacks that we run 24 volts to. There's one over here and one over here to wire stuff externally if need be. We've got USB programming ports. We couldn't actually find a USB programming port that was mini USB, so that's what that adapter is for. Plus, there's also USB-C. And there are power switches for each of these controllers separately that we've been able to fit down here, which is pretty handy, as opposed to having to reach around the back here and turn the whole thing off if we need to power cycle something.
I like the fact that looks like you've got one end of your CAN network over here and the other end of your CAN network over there.
Yep, and we've got these little terminator plugs. That's actually a Horner item that we sell to terminate CAN bus when you are using the modular jack version of our CAN bus, which is what a lot of our stuff is going towards. Such as that right there, going towards the modular jack away, at least some of it's going away from the standard 5-pin Phoenix connector or whatever those.
Yeah, the open
official
connector.
Yeah,
sure. Yep. So, we got buttons, we got an e-stop switch here. So I noticed you've got a mixture of push buttons and toggle switches. What's that all about?
That's right. Well, on our current panels, all we have are toggle switches, and so to simulate a push button, that makes it a little difficult to simulate a push button when all you have is a toggle switch. So we've kind of mixed and matched them here. We've got 3 push buttons, and we've got 2 toggles, as well as an official looking e-stop there that you can punch. And when these are attached to the table, you can pretty much tip the desk over without worrying about anything going flying.
Yeah, because I think the way they're designed is they actually kind of pin to the table, so they can stay in place, and then when we need to use the tables for something else, we can just remove them.
Yeah, there's a set of clamps that we'll use to screw them down to the tables.
Okay.
So yeah, that'll work nicely. And then also up here we've got a little 4 to 12 milliamp knob that we can use on any of our 3 controllers, whether it be the XLW or the OCSIO or the X7. Each has its own 4 to 20 milliamp input knob here.
Okay.
And then currently connected to the XLW is actually the encoder wheel over here. And in this case, the option that's mounted currently is a stepper motor, a NEMA 17 size stepper motor. And I've actually 3D printed out some little speed racer wheels on here to make it more interesting. But
very nice.
That's really just a pulley with a timing belt that you might find in the 3D printing world. And when the stepper mover spins, so does the encoder wheel, and you get your encoder feedback in that manner.
Nice.
Or you can dismount the belt and just use this as an encoder that you can spin manually.
And if I remember correctly, you've got another option for this hole here in addition
Right.
to a stepper motor.
So this hole is dual purpose. If we're not using steppers for that particular training class, we can
We'll
drop
be
our
dropping things on the floor.
Nate,
We have to make sure things are rugged enough so that when Nate tries to break them, he's not always successful.
Right. So we've got this 4 to 20 milliamp meter that we can mount in there in place of the stepper motor, and then have a 4 to 20 milliamp output from any of these controllers. Currently, it's off of the X7 down here.
Right.
So yeah,
Wow, this thing's really versatile.
it's yeah, I'm kind of happy with it. It's been a pet project of mine a little bit for probably more time than some people want to admit, but
Well, you know, we're going to be, the last trainers were used for 10 plus years, and before
Yes,
that, they were used for
before
10
that.
plus years.
Yep.
So my guess is, you know, these with different controllers maybe plugged in will be around for another 10 plus years.
yeah, and one of the nice things about these little 6-inch cutouts, the 6-inch cutouts, is that they fit multiple controllers. So whether it's this XLW, or whether it's the X7, or whether it's the 10-inch widescreen controllers that are on the horizon, yeah, it's kind of universal in what it can fit. And then there's also, of course, more space on the thin rail that we can stick more stuff on there as it comes out.
That's right, as we have new products that you'll be learning about if you join us at Automate in another few weeks. Okay, well, Nate, so I think that's a pretty good run through. I appreciate showing it to us.
No problem at all, Chuck. That was, yeah. I'll be excited to use these once we get a training class going here.
Very impressive. Now let's take a look at the total eclipse itself through the lens of Emily Tedder. While most of us were outside gaping at the sky taking in the event, Emily was hard at work setting up her camera and capturing a time lapse. Now it wasn't any kind of fancy time lapse setting on her camera. She just did it the old-fashioned way, snapping a shot every now and then. But the results were terrific. Let's take a look. So that's this week's program, live from the training center. This is the point in the program where I remind you that we are here every week, Tuesday at 2 o'clock, with a few rare exceptions like last week. So don't hesitate to join us live, where we're always available to answer your questions live. And of course, you can always watch on replay from the Horner YouTube channel and leave us comments and questions in the comment section. Here's our current 2024 training schedule. Sign up for a class today on our website. And if you do, you'll get a chance to use one of those new demo kits that Nate and his team have put together. Also, there are lots of ways to contact us here at Horner Automation and interact with us online. You've got our website, our YouTube channel, and of course LinkedIn, where we're always very active. We've got the next 2 weeks' content announced on our website. Check it out there and get ready for a very exciting May. It's a big month, and in the next week or two, we will tell you why. Until next week, let's all get out there and do some good.